My fiancée asked for some space, then disappeared for weeks while flaunting her reunion with her ex. I stayed silent. When she finally called to say the break is over, I answered, "So is this relationship." She was desperately arguing the break had guidelines I should follow. I, 31M, never thought I'd be the one posting here, but I guess life has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. 3 weeks ago, my fiancée of 2 years sat me down for what she called an important conversation. We've been planning our wedding for October, sent out save the dates, and even put deposits on most of the venues. Everything seemed perfect, at least to me. That evening, she came home late from work, unusually quiet. When I asked if everything was okay, she burst into tears. "I need some space," she said. "I'm feeling overwhelmed with the wedding planning and just everything." I was confused but tried to be understanding. Maybe the stress was getting to her. She explained she needed a break to clear her head, but assured me it wasn't about us. She just needed time alone to find herself before committing to marriage. I reluctantly agreed. What else could I do? I loved her and wanted her to be sure about our future together. She said she'd stay with her sister for a week or two, and we'd talk after she had time to think. Before leaving, she hugged me tightly and whispered, "Please trust me on this." The first few days were hard. We barely texted, and when we did, her responses were short and distant. I respected her need for space, though it hurt. Then came the social media posts. A mutual friend sent me a screenshot of her Instagram story, my fiancé at a bar downtown, laughing with a group of people I didn't recognize. Except for one person, her ex. The same ex she'd told me was completely out of her life and meant nothing to her anymore. They looked comfortable together, his arm casually draped around her shoulder. I felt sick. Still, I didn't confront her. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe they'd just run into each other. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. Then came more photos. Them at a concert I knew she'd been wanting to attend. Tickets I had tried to get for her birthday. Them at a restaurant we had our first date at. Each picture felt like a knife twisting deeper into my chest. Friends started calling, asking if we'd broken up. Apparently, she was telling people we were on a break and figuring things out. Her sister, the one she was supposedly staying with, awkwardly avoided my texts asking how they were doing. 2 weeks passed with minimal communication. I threw myself into work, hitting the gym at 5 a.m. every morning just to exhaust myself enough to sleep at night. I stopped checking social media. I packed up some of her things, not sure if she'd even come back for them. Then yesterday my phone rang. Her name flashed on the screen. "Hey," she said, sounding cheerful. "I think I'm ready to come home now. The break was good for me. I've cleared my head." I remained silent, my throat tight. "Hello? Are you there?" she asked. "I'm here," I finally managed. "Great. So I'll be home tomorrow evening. We can talk about the wedding plans again. I'm thinking we should change the color scheme." "The break is over?" I interrupted. "Yes, that's what I'm saying. I feel so much better now." I took a deep breath. "So is this relationship." Silence on her end. "Then what? What are you talking about?" "I saw the pictures. With your ex. At our restaurant. At the concert. At your sister's place." "Oh wait, you weren't at your sister's at all, were you?" "You don't understand," she stammered. "The break had guidelines." "Guidelines?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "What guidelines? The ones where you lie about where you're staying? The ones where you parade around town with your ex while I sit here wondering what I did wrong?" "We never discussed the terms," she shouted. "You can't just decide it's over because I spent time with friends during our break." "Friends? Is that what you call them now? The same ex you swore meant nothing to you." "Nothing happened," she insisted. "You're supposed to trust me. That's what the break was testing." I laughed bitterly. "Testing me? While you were with him? I'm not the one who failed this test." She started crying then, saying I was overreacting, that I didn't understand what she was going through, that she needed to explore her feelings before committing to marriage. "You should have explored those feelings before accepting my proposal," I said quietly. "Before we sent out save the dates. Before we built a life together." "So you're throwing away 2 years because I needed time to think?" she asked between sobs. "No, I'm walking away because you lied. Because you humiliated me. Because you made me question every moment we've shared." I hung up as she was mid-sentence about how I should follow the guidelines of the break. My phone immediately started ringing again. I turned it off. That night, she showed up at our apartment, mascara streaked down her face. I let her in. We needed to talk face-to-face eventually. "You can't just end things like this," she said, pacing our living room. I came back. "I chose you. After what? Testing the waters with your ex? Making sure you weren't missing out on something better?" She flinched. "It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like? Explain it to me." She sat down, shoulders slumped. I was scared. The wedding, the commitment, it all became so real. I panicked. I needed to know I was making the right choice. And reconnecting with your ex was how you figured that out. He reached out when he heard about our engagement, she admitted. It stirred up old feelings. I needed to know they weren't real before marrying you. I nodded slowly. And now you know. Yes. That's why I came back. I realized what we have is what I want. What we had, I corrected. You don't get to put our relationship on hold while you test drive an old one. Her eyes flashed with anger. You're being unreasonable. People take breaks all the time. Not like this. Not by lying about where they're staying. Not by flaunting their ex all over social media for everyone to see. I wasn't flaunting anything. Those were private moments. Posted publicly, I interrupted. Our friends saw. My family saw. Everyone knew except me, apparently. She tried a different approach, moving closer to me on the couch. I made a mistake. I was confused. But I'm clear now. I love you. Only you. The problem is, I don't know if I believe that anymore. She stayed for hours, cycling between tears, anger, and pleading. She insisted the break had unspoken rules I should have understood. That I was throwing away our future over a misunderstanding. That nothing physical happened with her ex, though she eventually admitted to kissing him just once when I pressed for the truth. Around midnight, I asked her to leave. She refused at first, saying this was her home too. I reminded her that she had chosen to leave it, and my name was the only one on the lease. Eventually, she packed an overnight bag, promising this wasn't over. The next morning, the text started. Her friends called me, saying I was being cruel. Her sister finally reached out, apologizing for covering for her, but insisting I should give her another chance. My phone buzzed constantly with notifications. She was tagging me in old photos of us, writing long captions about forgiveness and understanding. I blocked her on everything. That afternoon, I went to the jeweler and returned the wedding band I'd been paying off. The engagement ring was non-refundable, but I sold it to a consignment shop. It felt like closing a chapter. When I got home, she was waiting outside our building. Eyes red, holding flowers. Please, she said. Just talk to me. We've talked enough. You can't just throw away what we built over one mistake. I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt a strange sense of calm. It wasn't one mistake. It was a series of choices. You chose to lie about where you were staying. You chose to reconnect with your ex. You chose to post about it publicly. You chose to come back only after testing your other options. That's not fair. No, it's not. None of this is fair. But it's reality. She followed me into the elevator, still pleading her case. When we reached our floor, I turned to her. I've packed the rest of your things. They're by the door. Your name is off the utilities. I'll have the landlord remove you from the lease this week. Her mouth fell open. You've been planning this? All while I was trying to figure things out. No. I've been dealing with the aftermath of your choices. There's a difference. Inside, she saw the boxes of her belongings neatly stacked by the entrance. Something in her seemed to break then. The tears stopped, replaced by cold anger. You'll regret this, she said quietly, when you calm down and realize what you've thrown away. I shook my head. I'm not the one who threw anything away. She grabbed her boxes and left without another word. I changed the locks that evening. Update 1. It's been 2 weeks since I last posted. First, I want to thank everyone for the support. Reading your comments helped me stay strong during some really dark moments. A lot has happened. The day after she took her things, her mother called me. We'd always had a good relationship, and she started by saying she was disappointed in my rash decision. But as I explained the full situation, the lies about where she was staying, the public outings with her ex, the gaslighting about break guidelines, her tone changed. I didn't know all that, she admitted. She told us you were being controlling about her needing space. I wasn't surprised. My ex has always been good at spinning narratives to make herself the victim. Her mother apologized and said while she hoped we might reconcile, she understood my position. That conversation gave me some peace, but it didn't last long. 3 days after our breakup, my ex showed up at my workplace. She caused a scene in the lobby, crying and begging me to talk to her. Security had to escort her out. My boss was understanding, but suggested I work from home for a few days. Then came the social media campaign. She posted a long, vague statement about fighting for love and not giving up when things get hard. She didn't name me, but everyone knew who it was about. Friends started taking sides. Some mutual friends told me I was being too harsh, that everyone deserves a second chance. What they didn't know was that I'd received texts from her ex. Apparently, she'd told him I was controlling and emotionally abusive, and that's why she needed the break. He believed her at first, but as they reconnected, things didn't add up. He reached out to apologize, saying he wouldn't have spent time with her had he known the truth. According to him, she'd been in contact with him for months before our break, sending late-night texts reminiscing about their relationship. When she told him we were taking space, he assumed it was a prelude to a breakup. He was as surprised as I was when she suddenly cut things off with him and declared she was coming back to me. I thanked him for his honesty, but made it clear I wasn't interested in details of their time together. Some things you're better off not knowing. Last weekend, I ran into her and some friends at a bar. I tried to leave quietly, but she spotted me. She'd been drinking and started loudly accusing me of stalking her, though I'd been there first. Her friends looked embarrassed as she made a scene. I simply paid my tab and left, but not before overhearing her tell someone, "He's obsessed with me. He can't accept it's over." The irony wasn't lost on me. Yesterday, I received an email from her. More measured than her previous communications, it read like something written with legal advice. She listed items she claimed I still had and demanded the return of gifts she'd given me over the years. She also wanted her portion of our wedding deposits back. I forwarded it to my lawyer friend, who advised me that gifts given without conditions cannot be legally reclaimed, and as she was the one who initiated the break that led to our split, I had no obligation to return wedding deposits. Still, I'm keeping all communication documented just in case. The hardest part has been the loneliness. Our apartment feels too big now. I've thrown myself into work and started training for a half marathon, anything to keep busy. Some nights are better than others. I've reconnected with old friends who drifted away during my relationship. I've also started therapy. My therapist pointed out that my ex's behavior follows a classic pattern. She wanted to explore options while keeping me as a safety net, then was shocked when the safety net refused to catch her fall. He's helping me recognize the manipulation tactics I missed and work through the guilt I still sometimes feel. The wedding date is still 4 months away. I've contacted all the vendors to cancel. Most were understanding, though I lost several deposits. A small price to pay, I realize now. Update 2. It's been nearly 2 months since everything fell apart, and I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. The constant anxiety has subsided, and I'm sleeping through the night most of the time now. Something unexpected happened last week. I was clearing out old emails and found our wedding website login information. Out of curiosity, I logged in to shut it down properly and discovered she had been logging in regularly, updating details as recently as during our break. While publicly flaunting her time with her ex, she was privately adjusting flower arrangements and menu options for our wedding. The realization hit me hard. She never intended to end our engagement. In her mind, the break was just a hall pass, a chance to explore feelings for her ex while keeping me on standby. The wedding planning was her insurance policy. I showed the login history to my therapist, who helped me process the anger that followed. Some people want everything, he said. They want the stability of commitment and the thrill of options. They don't understand that choosing both means ultimately having neither. Those words stuck with me. Her social media campaign has intensified. She's posted throwback photos of us with captions like, "Missing what we had," and "Sometimes the heart needs time to catch up to the mind." Friends tell me she's telling everyone she's fighting for us, while I'm refusing to communicate. What they don't know is that she's still texting me at 2 a.m., alternating between angry accusations and desperate pleas. One night it's, "You never really loved me if you can walk away so easily." And the next it's, "Please just talk to me. We can fix this." I've stopped responding entirely. Last weekend brought a new development. I was having dinner with a friend when he awkwardly mentioned he'd seen my ex with her ex again. Apparently, after all her public declarations about fighting for our relationship, she's back with him. My friend showed me a photo of them looking cozy at a restaurant, the same one where she'd taken her ex during our break. I felt nothing. Not anger, not hurt, not even surprise. Just confirmation that I'd made the right decision. Yesterday, I received a package at my door. Inside was the necklace I'd given her for our first anniversary, along with a letter. She wrote that she was returning it because keeping it felt wrong, now that she's moving on. The letter went on to say she tried everything to save our relationship, but had to accept my decision to end things. The revisionist history was almost laughable. She ended by saying she hopes I find happiness, but doubts I'll ever find someone who loves me as completely as she did. I put the necklace in a drawer and threw away the letter. Today, I signed a lease on a new apartment across town. Fresh start, new neighborhood, away from the memories. I've also booked a solo trip for what would have been our honeymoon week, hiking in the mountains instead of the beach resort we'd planned. My therapist says the best revenge is living well. I'm starting to believe that's true. While she's cycling between her ex and public displays of heartbreak over me, I'm rebuilding. Quietly, steadily, without an audience. The wedding website is deleted now. The save the dates are a distant memory. And for the first time in months, I'm looking forward rather than back. Sometimes the most painful endings lead to the most necessary beginnings. I didn't choose this path, but I'm walking it with increasing confidence. And I'm realizing that when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Final update. 6 months have passed since what should have been our wedding day. I spent that weekend on a mountain trail with two new friends I met in a hiking group. We watched the sunset from a ridge overlooking a valley, and I felt a sense of peace I hadn't experienced in a long time. Life has settled into a new normal. My new apartment feels like home now. I've reconnected with old hobbies, playing guitar, cooking elaborate meals, weekend photography hikes, things I'd gradually set aside during my relationship. I ran into my ex's sister last month at a grocery store. The encounter was awkward but civil. She told me my ex and her ex had gotten engaged after dating again for just 3 months. She's determined to be married by the end of the year, her sister said with a strained smile. Mom thinks it's too fast, but you know how she is when she sets her mind on something. I wished them well and meant it. Whatever game she was playing, trying to prove she'd moved on, trying to make me jealous, or genuinely rushing into another commitment, it wasn't my concern anymore. The most surprising development came from an unexpected source. Remember the mutual friend who first showed me the photos of my ex with her ex during our break? She confessed that my ex had asked her to make sure I saw those pictures. She wanted you to fight for her, the friend explained. She thought making you jealous would prove you really cared. The manipulation ran deeper than I'd realized. My ex had orchestrated the whole thing, the public outings, the strategic social media posts, expecting me to confront her, beg her to come back, prove my love through desperation. When I instead chose self-respect, her plan collapsed. I've started dating again, cautiously. Nothing serious yet, but it's nice to be reminded that connection is still possible. I'm more aware of red flags now, more attentive to how potential partners handle conflict and respect boundaries. Last week, I received a text from an unknown number, my ex, from a new phone. I made a terrible mistake, it read. He's not you. It never feels right. Can we talk? I didn't respond. 3 days later, I know you're reading these. Please, I'm calling off the engagement. I never stopped loving you. Again, silence from my end. Yesterday, a final message. You're really going to throw away everything we had? After all we went through? You're more heartless than I thought. And there it was, the mask slipping again. The quick pivot from pleading to accusation when she didn't get her way. The attempt to place blame on me for decisions she made. I blocked the new number and went about my day. Sometimes people ask if I regret ending things so definitively, if I wonder about reconciliation or second chances. I don't. The moment she tried to argue that our break had unspoken guidelines I should have somehow known and followed while she explored options with her ex, I saw clearly what I'd been missing. Respect. Not just her respect for me, but my respect for myself. They say when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I finally did. And in doing so, I discovered who I am. Someone who won't be a backup plan, who won't accept lies dressed as finding oneself, who understands that real love doesn't come with hidden tests or unspoken guidelines. The wedding we planned never happened. The life we imagined together dissolved. But in its place, I found something more valuable. The courage to walk away from what hurts, the wisdom to recognize manipulation, and the knowledge that I deserve better. And so do you. If you're reading this and seeing parallels to your own situation, trust your instincts. Respect yourself. Remember that love shouldn't require you to diminish yourself or accept disrespect. Sometimes the bravest thing you can say is simply, "This relationship is over."